We are, of course, right now in the Al-Pajaras mountains, the final, what could you call it, refuge for the Muslims during the Inquisition. The onslaught against Islam and Muslims had been, of course, taking place for a long time. It was in 1526, and then the following years, until at the end they were forced to flee and spark a rebellion, which they did here in the Al-Pajaras mountains. This, of course, is the end of our journey here in Andalus, and we go back and reflect upon the beginning of the journey and the arrival of the Muslims in 711 with Tariq ibn Ziyad and Musa ibn Nasir, and then later on Abdurrahman I and 755, and the coming on of the Umayyad dynasty here in Al-Andalus, and the creation of just a genius civilization brought together by peoples of different faiths. You had the convivencia, Muslims, Jews and Christians, but just the scientists involved, the mathematicians, the artists, the geographers, Al-Idrisi, Ibn Battuta. You had so many travelers that passed by the lands of Seville and Granada, Cordoba. And then we finally come here at the end of our journey to reflect back on what happened to this civilization of Al-Andalus, what happened to it. And one of the things, of course, that's been a recurring message in our trip has been the division and divisiveness between the Muslims, particularly during that period of the Ta'ifa kingdoms, when each of these great states were broken up into smaller states ruled by independent governors, independent rulers. No sense of national authority therefore existed amongst the Muslims, and at the same time the Christians of the north from Asturias are marching downwards, and they're marching down, they're taking tributes from the Muslims, and they're conquering those territories. So therefore states are falling because of the Muslim division. And division, of course, is a great disease. Our Prophet warned us of division. Allah in the Quran says, وَأَعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast, all of you, to the rope of Allah, and do not be divided. وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ. And remember my favor upon you when you were divided and Allah brought your hearts together, and you were on the brink of the hellfire and Allah saved you. Therefore we're reminded, therefore, being in Al-Andalus, that there was, and of course Spain is the largest country in Europe, and we had the civilization of Al-Andalus right here in Europe, in the largest country of Europe, for so many centuries. And it's a reminder for us about what was achieved once, when there was unity, when there was convivencia, but was also lost when Muslims sought to divide themselves, seeking power for themselves and not thinking about the global, the bigger picture, about unity and consolidating their affairs. And so we're reminded of that at the same time. Therefore, it's been a thoroughly edifying experience being here, learning about the legacy, learning about the history. And I think every Muslim should come in and learn about the history of Al-Andalus so that they know what has happened and what's happening now. We learn about the Moriscos, for example, those converts to Islam who had to hide their faith because of forced conversions, forced baptisms, forced to drink wine, forced to eat pork, not allowed to speak or read in Arabic, forced to learn Latin. All of these things were initiatives by the Catholic Church here to suppress any existence of Islam or Muslims, but they held on to their faith. And it's a great legacy for us, inspiration for us about the potential, of course, of our faith to survive against all odds. And so we are here, of course, right now in Al-Pajaras, and we're recounting the final stages of the existence of the Muslims here in Al-Andalus.